we have Kayleigh McEwan, who has married an awesome guy, Shane Allen, and she also had a little bit of a bumpy road to getting there. So let me just, I'm gonna stop the share for a sec so we can see you. All right, so go ahead, Kayleigh.
Hi.
Hey, Kayleigh. So Kayleigh, I mean, we've known each other for, I don't even know how long, since my kids were babies, because
Yeah, Kira was like 1.5.
yeah. Yes, at least it's been at least 10 years. And I don't remember exactly when it was, but several years ago, I remember you were on my doorstep and you were not in a good place. I could see by the look in your face, things were not going well. So what was going on for you at that point?
Yeah, I think I had come over to, I mean, at that point we weren't super close. I was your caregiver and I came over to babysit, I think was what I was supposed to be there for. But I'd had a pretty rough time in the relationship that I was in at the time. And it was nearing an end, but I wasn't willing to, I don't know, end it, I guess, when I knew I needed to. And yeah, I think I just kind of broke down when we were actually just saying goodnight after I'd babysat.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, so definitely the relationship was off, but you also weren't super happy in your career at that point either.
No, yeah, there was a lot, and it was all kind of similar almost in a weird way, but although they sound very different things. I'd been in a relationship for 4.5 years, and it was just very controlling, a lot of like jealousy, a lot of like what I could and couldn't do. And I mean, it started really slowly, so I didn't notice it happening very much. And then at work, I worked for a boss who, well, was, I don't know, kind of similar, like very controlling, very just not like a positive person to be around. You could never ever do things right. So it didn't matter how like hard you tried at work or anything, it would like it come down to you folded the blankets wrong or something. So I always felt like I was walking on eggshells, both when I was going into work and in my personal relationship as well. So it was just like a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety in my life, and just not in a very good place.
Yeah, I mean, I remember my heart just breaking for you because it was, it was a tough time for you. So you, though, decided you had a choice point, at that point. You could have kept going down that path. You could have stayed in the relationship. You could have kept staying in the unhealthy career, with the people who were making you miserable, but you stepped up to the plate and decided to change it. I offered you the chance to come into my Transform Your Life program, which you did. And, just like Jenny, you really, went in there and started applying yourself. So tell everybody kind of what changed.
Well, I have to admit, I was similar to Jenny in the sense that I'm a bit of a skeptic with things like this often. I do feel like in the end, I got a lot out of it, but at the beginning, I feel like I was like very hesitant in like how much I was putting in at first until I started to see a bit more out of it, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to explain if you haven't taken it or done anything with Karen, and I'm not just saying this because we're friends now, but like I really went in kind of hesitant about the whole thing. And she really encouraged me just to try and do it and see what comes out of it. And so I did the course, and there's things like kind of again similar to what Jenny had already said, but like I'm the type of person to buy a lot of books, and I'm sure they would have said similar things. I'm not against, buying books or reading these types of things, but there's something just that was very different about someone really like making you understand what you're reading instead of just reading it and being like, yeah, well, everybody knows that. Everybody knows you should be positive, or everybody knows like it's not so simple, right? Like to put into practice. So I found like the work involved and those parts of it just really helpful. I think I lost the question.
Okay, well, so let's talk about what changed, because I can't remember which changed first, whether it was the career or whether it was the relationship. Yeah.
It was the career first, I think, technically, but they kind of aligned. So once I decided to fully leave the relationship that I was in, I really went like full force on trying to start my own business. And I did, and I found partners who wanted to invest in me, and that was a huge break for me, finding people who would like put the money forward. I now own a pretty successful Montessori school that runs intergenerational programming. Well, not right now. Normally with the elderly in Barhaven. So I own a Montessori called Educara in Barhaven, and we've done really well, and it's been an amazing experience. So I started that, and we were on track to open in like a January timeframe. So that was already on the move. And then I met Shane in October, so just slightly before we actually opened our doors. And yeah, it was, I feel like if I hadn't been in my past relationship at that time, I would not have been successful because just the nature of the relationship. Like it would have been a big deal for me to have to be at meetings all the time, or it would have been, just the amount that I had to put in wouldn't have been like acceptable, or I would have had to have met other people's needs. So it was just nice to be starting a relationship with someone who was really supportive of my dreams and my goals and what I was doing. So they kind of came together around the same time when we opened and when Shane and I really met.
Yeah, and I just want to acknowledge Kayleigh a little bit because she doesn't tend to pump herself up quite as much, and I've got to say a couple of things that not everybody would be aware of. Like, she was taking huge risks to be opening a business and to try to find investors. Like, she really had to step into her confidence that she was capable, that she could do it. Like, I really saw you grow a lot during that period, Kayleigh, and reaching for your dreams. And this school that she's opened, I mean, not only was it successful and doing really well within a year, but when she says intergenerational, what she means is it's attached to a retirement residence. So her dream was to get the little kids and the older people together to be doing activities together. It's just absolutely amazing. And she actually won a Prime Minister's Award for the work she's done. So I think it's worth giving her a shout out for that. It's pretty fantastic. So many of us have dreams and visions and we just sit on them and never do anything about it. Well, Kayleigh didn't sit on hers. She decided she was going to make it happen and got the support she needed to do that. And then met this wonderful guy in the process who supported her dreams, which made it a lot easier, to come to fruition. So let's talk a little bit more about Shane. Like, what are the great aspects of him, of your relationship? And tell us a little bit too about how you guys met.
Well, yeah, I guess going back a little bit, I should have mentioned, like, I also did take some me time first too. I went away to Italy with my sister, which was huge in, like, I feel like just getting me on track to focus on what I wanted, and not to sit around the house and do like, woe is me and all of that. And who will I meet next? I took off for a while. I left and I traveled and I came back kind of refreshed, and that was all just right after I finished up with Karen. So the trip kind of took off immediately after I finished the course with her. So, and I just feel like that put me in the right mindset for what I needed to do. And then I came back and kind of tackled everything. Shane and I met, well, this is kind of a funny one. I don't know if it's like the best place to meet someone, but we actually met on Tinder.
And I just want to pause there for a second because I do normally in my coaching, that isn't the place I would recommend. However, this is the point that I was making earlier on today, ladies, that it's not about the app. It's not about the website. It's not about the where. When your energy's in the right place, you'll line up with it. So yes, they met on Tinder, and go ahead, Kayleigh.
Yeah, we met on Tinder. I have to admit, like, I don't think I fully understood it at the time. Like, I just thought it was like a dating app, like all of them. But yeah, we met on Tinder and we made a date to go bowling. We went bowling on our first date, and I was super awkward. I remember that, like, I didn't speak very much. I was so out of my comfort zone because it had been so long since I had gone on like a date or anything. And I just remember Shane was so patient, and so I don't know what the word is, just like he could read it off of me, like how nervous I was. So at the end, he walked me to my car, and like he didn't try to kiss me, nothing. He just like said goodnight, and then we started texting more after and stuff. But I felt like he really sensed it on me and knew like he didn't want to, I think, put me like in a more uncomfortable position than I already seemed. He's amazing. I don't even know like what to say. He's so patient. I think my favorite thing about our relationship is that we're both completely ourselves, and we also come together completely like in a relationship at the same time. I know that sounds weird, but like I don't know if you ever feel like you've lost yourself in a relationship. That's definitely how I felt in my past one. So I felt like there wasn't a lot of me left in it. And I've never ever felt that way with Shane. Like he fully accepts me for exactly who I am and how I am. And I'm the same with him. And so we come together and we have a great time. And when we are doing our own things, we're doing our own things. And it's just so nice and peaceful. Yeah, I don't know.
So, and last year there was a very special event, and there's a special event coming up. Do you want to tell everybody about that?
Yeah, if you see me yawning a lot, I'm not actually yawning. I'm just struggling to breathe because the baby keeps pushing up on my lungs.
Can you show us your bump? Is that okay to ask?
Yeah. It's a little hard on here, but I'll try.
So Kayleigh is expecting, and she's due in June. I was hoping she would not go into labor before this interview. But before she got pregnant, she also got married. So do you want to tell us about
We got married last June 29th. And we got pregnant pretty much just after. I as soon as we started trying, we waited till after our honeymoon, which was in September. And then we decided to try, and I was pregnant in a week.
Takes the fun out of it a little bit, right?
But yeah, I honestly couldn't, I don't know. It's weird talking about, I guess, before, because I don't feel like the same person at all. Like literally at all anymore. I feel like I'm telling some kind of weird story.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
honestly, I think that's the best thing. You have changed so much, Kayleigh, and so much of your life is good, but it really started with you choosing, right? To choosing to believe
Yeah.
that more was possible for you and choosing to do the work to make that happen. So any words of advice to the ladies here who might be feeling discouraged?
I feel like it's I don't know. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. Um, I don't. Sorry, I'm really like freezing up here. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's one of those things like words of advice. Just really do. I guess do the work and really feel like you know yourself and what you want first. Don't look for it. I mean, that sounds weird because I was on a dating app, but you know what I mean in like the larger sense. One thing with Shane that was different is I didn't jump in to the extent of like, let's be in a serious relationship right off the bat. Once we made that choice, I'll admit like things have moved kind of quickly. We've been together only around 4 years, and we've gotten married and are expecting, but in the initial beginning, like it was really kind of slow moving. You know, it wasn't let's make this official right away. It was really getting to know each other and being patient. And yeah, just don't ignore red flags, I guess. I feel like I did that a lot in my past. I would look at everything as a positive. So it was always like, well, he's not really the same, or this isn't the same because this person does this differently. But, you know, ignoring the other 5 things that I know I should be like acknowledging and seeing there. yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know. I just feel like my life is just so different now. It's ridiculous. Like, um, yeah, Shane is just so, like, we just have such a great relationship, and it's just so comforting and so different than anything that I've known. So I feel like you have to be patient and really like really wait for someone that you click with in that way, and not have it be about finding someone.
I love that. I think those are some great words of advice. And I have tears in my eyes. I'm just so happy for you, Kayleigh. It's it's just so different. It really is from, 4 years ago when you're sitting on my doorstep. You really aren't the same person, and you deserve all the happiness you're getting. And you've done so well with your career and so well with your relationship. And I know you're going to be a kick-ass mom because you were such an amazing caregiver to my kids.
Thank
So
you.
wishing you tons of success with your delivery and your new baby. And I'm expecting pictures and a visit we'll go visit you once the pandemic's over and once you're accepting visitors. So,
Yes, definitely.
yeah. Thank you, Kayleigh. Thanks for sharing your story.
Thanks.